In this episode, we're talking about Grease, the movie where everyone is somehow in high school, everyone can sing, and the most important life decisions happen at a carnival. It's loud, colorful, ridiculous in the best way, and still impossible not to love. Stay with us.
Get ready for the 3324 podcast, where lifelong friends Dean Legiro and Eric Kuber share their love of all things music and movies. Dean has directed short films and is a music trivia buff. And Eric, trained in audio engineering, brings his extensive knowledge of music and film to the conversation as they discuss, debate, and celebrate their favorite albums, films, and much more.
Welcome, friends, to the 3324 podcast. Listen, if you remember when soundtrack albums were just as important as the movie, this is the podcast to press play on, Eric. Mm-hmm. Enunciation is very important. You got that?
I got it.
Especially for people that talk.
That's a good one. You're coming up with these little gems every week.
Talk.
So that is
for people, especially for people that talk.
Very apropos.
Yes. See?
So
you see what I did
for this particular episode. So yeah.
Eric, the drought has ended. The drought has officially ended. Sean Grady is back.
Okay. Yes, he is. Yeah, I wasn't.
We've been waiting.
I was lugging boxes at Bargain City. I was lettering in track while you were all stealing hubcaps. All right,
you skids.
He's on it.
You skids. Sean Grady turned jock.
Yeah. Hey, got to do what you got to do for your girl.
He is back. Welcome, Sean. It's been way too long.
Yeah.
Happy to be back.
Busy. I want to introduce our other two guests and then explain why Sean has not really been around too much, because there's a good reason. Besides me owing him a large amount of money and staying away from places that I know he's going to be, but put that aside, we've got Miss Kelly Kuber with us as well.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
How's it going?
Excited to talk about Grease.
Yeah, here to talk about Grease.
Yeah.
And she's back again. She was just on our top 5 movie experiences show. Courtney Cremines.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. Yeah.
So we've got 2 pink ladies here, and we got 3 T-birds. You can determine who is who. Anyway, Sean Grady. We're recording this episode in 2026, just for future generations that may listen to this. And for those that don't know, that is the 250th anniversary of the founding of this great country that we're in, the US of A. And if you've listened to any other shows that Sean has been on, we always let you know that he is part of Drama from the Past. He's one of the co-creators and founders and writers and actors. Sean, give us the 2-sentence pitch, because you'll do it better than me.
Busy year, 250th anniversary of the country. I'm play various characters for various organizations. I've written plays about events surrounding our country's founding and some of the good guys, some of the bad guys. Main show is Rendezvous with Treason, the Andre Arnold Conspiracy, which is our flagship production. So hit us up, Drama from the Past, on Instagram or Facebook, and see what we're up to. We're up to a lot.
And we're going to make it easy for you, because we're going to put a link in the show notes, of course. So if you're in the lower New York area, these guys are him and his partner are just busy. They are booked. So he's like, you know what? The big time's calling.
Hey, this is the big time right here. Right?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
What's next, Sean? Are you going to do like a musical? Like Hamilton kind of thing?
I wish.
Is that in the works or what?
I wish I had those chops. I really do.
Okay.
Treason, the musical.
But if Lin-Manuel Miranda wants to work with me, we want to work on the Andre Arnold musical. I think there's something there. I think we can do that.
I'm telling you, I've seen a couple of his productions, and they're great. They're compelling. Especially in the area that we live in, it's rich with Revolutionary War history.
Hudson Valley, yes.
Yeah, so you're kind of, live, kind of right in where a lot of this stuff happened, which is really cool. So,
and it's full tilt. These guys, they got costumes. They're full dress. I've seen clips. You got stuff on YouTube, I believe. No, yeah,
really cool. So check it out. We will put a link in the show notes. Putting that aside, we're not going back to the Revolutionary War. We're kind of going back to the late 50s, early 60s for Grease. Let's get the stats going, and then we'll kind of talk about how we're all connected to this film in what way. We've got Three Truths and a Lie making a triumphant return at the end of the show. So we've
right show to come back. Yes,
I haven't done one in we haven't done one in ages. So you're helping the mojo return.
All right.
We also have the fan theory about Grease, which we'll talk about that. If you guys are aware of what the fan theory is about Grease, it's kind of dark, but we'll get to that as well. So we've got a lot to chew on. But let's get it started with the stats. This film, Grease, was released in June of 1978, directed by Randall Kleiser. This was his first film. He had done some TV stuff. This was his first film, and he doesn't have a huge filmography. The only other thing he's done he did like The Blue Lagoon, but he did Flight of the Navigator, which is kind of a really cool sci-fi film from Disney.
Yeah,
about the kid, and he's in that really shiny ship.
Right. Yep.
And he gets kidnapped, and then comes back years later, whatever. But his filmography is not very extensive. This was a $6 million budget.
Wow.
And to date, this film has grossed $396 million. And I think upon its initial release, it was in the high 100 millions. So it made its money back. You could say this was not really a big film, or not meant to be. But there it is. We also need to kind of talk about the soundtrack as well. The soundtrack was a double album. The soundtrack went to #1 on Billboard. It went 13 times platinum, so we would not be remiss, Eric, if we just did a show about that. But we're gonna fold it in here.
Okay,
yep. Important. There was I think 4 or 5 singles released, and 2 of them hit #1. Wow. So this was kind of, and we'll start with the through line of John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, Eric. Right? I mean, we can't not talk about that, and the fact that Robert Stigwood was a producer of Saturday Night Fever, was also a producer on Grease.
Yeah, head of RSO Records
at
the time. Big deal. That's his producer credit right there. That's the reason he's involved in these films, is the music.
Managing the Bee Gees.
Yeah, exactly. On the heels of Saturday Night Fever, it's amazing these 2 films came out a year apart.
Yeah,
it's just So I mean, as huge as Saturday Night Fever was. Consider that. So, but yeah, just another hit for John Travolta, another hit for Robert Stigwood. Big money.
Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah. But before we get to, we're going to talk about everybody's connection to it. The connection is a lot of people, and in my mind, I think of Saturday Night Fever almost as a musical, because the music is so connected and such a big part of the film. Yeah, there's no song, they're not singing. But in my mind, Saturday Night Fever fits with Grease in that genre, because the music is so prevalent, and the music is such an important part of that film.
Yeah,
that it almost presents as a musical.
I agree with that.
It's been adapted into a musical.
There you go. That too.
It has. No, it has. I've seen it on stage.
Yeah. So it plays well into kind of fitting together, although the subject material and everything couldn't be more worlds apart. But there you go. So let's start with Courtney, and then we'll go to Kelly. So what's your connection? When did you first encounter this film?
Yeah, I think it was the first musical that I saw on, and it was TV, because it was after it was on the release, and I watched it a million times. And I don't know if you know this, but we have an album wall that movies or albums that mean something to us. We've purchased the albums, and we have the albums out, and we have the framed pictures on the wall. And that's one of the ones that I put on the wall, because it means so much to me. Is Grease. So yeah. So it just things in general around musical theater have always, brought me in, and this one just sucked me right in. And I hardly listen to the album by itself, because I want those visuals that go along with it because they're just so intertwined. But I was also going to say that Almost Famous, which also has been adapted into a musical, I felt watching that movie the same way as I did with Saturday Night Fever. I felt like I just recently rewatched it and got that feeling, because Cameron Crowe had so much music in the film to go between. See, Chef's kiss.
Yeah, it feels like it's transcending just being a straight up drama.
Right.
Because there's no music. Actually, in Almost Famous, there is kind of some musical numbers, yes, but the other music within it is part and parcel of dialogue. It takes dialogue for scenes.
It takes immense talent to pick the right songs for every scene, and you have that built in, that baked in, the fake band, but wrote original material in that. And in the case of Saturday Night Fever, the same thing. Bee Gees wrote songs specifically for the film, which would act as part and parcel of telling that story.
Absolutely.
So that's, for me, that's my favorite kind of musical. People like just bursting out into song it's there are a few that I really enjoy. But for me, it's more about, I think a really great example for me would be All That Jazz. If you guys haven't seen that with Roy Scheider about Bob Fosse. So it's, but that was great because it did integrate musical numbers, but it wasn't like they were just, bursting into song. It was about this guy's life. And it was just so well done, the way that they juxtapose that.
Intermingling it.
Yeah. So amazing film. Yeah.
All right, Kelly, lay it on us.
So I think, obviously mine and Courtney's connections are similar, but I will say that I felt like this was almost like a Memorial Day movie, like something that we would always kind of see, or maybe it was more Labor Day, like at the end of the summer or something like that. I always feel like that was the prime time to watch it, because it kind of takes you through the school year, and you start out at the beginning and you have those feelings of, oh my gosh, school's going to start. It's going to be so exciting. What's this year going to bring? How is it going to be? And then coming off of, in Sandy's case, a really exciting, probably first love of her life summer, you know what I mean? And so it always was like, oh, what is this summer going to bring? So I was always really connected to the way that the characters interact with the school and all of that.
Yeah. It's very relatable, even though it takes, and we'll talk about the retro kind of resurgence that brought this on, but it's very wholesome. It's wholesome, but it's also very subversive, this film, which has been getting dragged lately for him. I'll throw in my 2 cents about that. But Sean, what about you? Sean,
This movie has been a part of my life since I can remember. I saw it in the theater. I was young. I'm sure. I think it's been re-released. It was re-released after.
Yeah, several times.
Times. So I saw it several times in the theater. I remember having a mixtape that my dad made for me, playing in the car, and hearing the songs from the movie that I like Grease Lightning and Summer Lovin'. Those songs. So this movie was a part of my life from as far back as I can remember, like single digits in the theater, always watching it when it came on television, always watching it. And, and growing up with it, it was always there. So, and it was fun. It was fun to revisit it last night. My wife and I watched it, and it's different now watching it, as an adult, and all the things that went over my head, I was saying to my wife, I said, we can't let the girls watch this right now.
No.
I almost wish that I exposed them to it when they were younger, because it would have went all over their head, and they will have had seen it, know the songs, and then maybe because they watched it at a young age, some of that stuff doesn't set in until you start thinking about it. So I wish I exposed it to them a little bit earlier, but it's a little rough.
Yeah, there's an age when you can watch it, not get it, but then rewatch it as an adult and everything comes rushing.
Yeah.
Or you watch it as an adult and you get it all. But if there's that middle ground where you're just learning about things and it's kind of weird and, it's kind of strange. Eric, what about you?
Did see it when it first came out. I don't remember where by itself, but then I saw it the second time was more memorable for me because it was the double feature with Saturday Night Fever, and they re-released Saturday Night Fever. For some weird reason, they decided to cut some things out and make it PG because it was rated R. I went to see it with my mom and I think my cousin Lauren, and I think my aunt. And I was worried because I knew Saturday Night Fever. This was the first time I had seen that film, but I kind of knew everything about it. I'd heard so much about it, and people telling me everything and all that kind of thing. And I was worried about watching that movie with my mom because of how, it's just there, right? Even though it's PG, I don't know exactly what they cut out of it. But it was pretty intense. My mom had a bigger problem with Grease than she did with Saturday Night Fever. She's like,
Okay.
I cannot believe the language. Well, what is that song about? Grease? Like, what? She was so like prudish about Grease. And she had a bigger problem with that. She enjoyed the film, but she got obviously all of that stuff kind of landed harder with her.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because she was thinking it was going to be this silly nostalgic thing, but I don't think she was ready for the whole, everything, what it's about. And, a lot of things that were happening in the film. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, I saw it when it came out. I probably, no exaggeration, I think I may have seen it 5 or 6 times in the theater.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the wake. This was in the wake of Star Wars. Now these things are not related per se, but they're related to someone who started having movie experiences at that time. And so movies became an important thing, and almost any movie became an important thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, when the theater in Dobbs Ferry, you could just sit there; they wouldn't throw you out. So I would watch Grease twice in a row and just kind of sit there and just kind of take it in. And just the like Sean said, it was the music, it was the soundtrack. The Bee Gees were popular, so Barry Gibb had a song, and Frankie Valli, and just we were riding the wave of nostalgia from Happy Days. So there were so many other like connectors that were kind of coming in at the time that kind of made it easy just to really kind of go sit down and watch it and enjoy it. Everybody is so charismatic. All the actors are very charismatic in it. So they're singing, they're dancing, they're twirling. And there's all these big, fantastically choreographed numbers that Pat Birch, we have to get, she has to get all the credit in the world for if you watch any of those big numbers and don't watch the leads, there are like rows and rows of people behind them all dancing. Yeah. Some of them are doing things that are synchronized. Some are doing like second level things that are synchronized with other people. It was crazy, the amount of stuff that went into it. But in 1978, yeah, it just immediately became one of my favorite films. Now, here's the sad part. In Yonkers, the city of Yonkers, there's a horse track, Yonkers Raceway. And every Sunday they used to have a flea market there, just like vendors selling whatever. So, we went, and this guy was selling records and old brand new records, and they had the soundtrack to Grease. So my parents bought it for me. And it must have been like a cutout, because when I got it home, it had 2 of the same records of the second record, which had none of the stuff. So like the first record had like Sandy and Summer Love, it had all that stuff. The album was sealed, and it had 2 of the second disc.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, talk about a kick in the stomach, or it was. I was like, what? And you can't go back because it was a flea market.
Right. Yeah.
You gotta find the guy and do what, So it was just, but it was just, I think let's kind of talk a little bit. There's 2 things we need to kind of talk about: is John Travolta on TV and the 50s on TV before we get to Grease, because that was really important. But the Broadway show, the actual show Grease, debuted in 1971. So it really wasn't a new idea. This was around, it had been different repertories had done it in different cities. It was kind of a not a huge deal. It wasn't Cats level, but it was kind of big. It was around. And then, you get the show Happy Days in the early 70s, which kind of looks at, rose-colored glasses, right? With the 50s, and everything was great. Yeah, there were problems. Then you get Laverne and Shirley, and there's just all this wave of nostalgia happening for the 50s. Just like in the 80s, everybody was nostalgic for the 60s.
Well, and now I've heard that there's tons of new kids finding Friends on streaming services, and they're watching it in nostalgia for the 90s. It's just
it's all cyclical. You kind of go back 20 years and everything seemed so much easier.
Yeah.
The thing about all that stuff is though, even though it was set in the 50s and the 60s, it was told through a modern lens though. You did get those sort of modern sensibility, and it was more relatable, I think, for kids or for young, folks. I mean, it was just because it's time all these situations are just timeless. It's for every generation. Everybody goes through the angst and the teen and every high school and all this stuff. So I think it was based on the writer Jacobs was his experiences in Chicago. So the play was actually set in Chicago and not in California, which is interesting to me. I didn't know that. That's
a little bit grittier.
Yeah. So
in California. The other writer, there was two writers. The other writer said Gorton High School in Yonkers, New York was his inspiration.
Yes, I read that.
So so there's two writers. So we're in this wave of in the 70s of kind of everything seems so much easier and family friendly. So you had that whole primetime hour of Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley just rolling right into each other, and that whole nostalgia and all those parents that had kids like our parents are fondly remembering it. So then they said, all right, let's start to develop this into a film. Some of the early people for Sandy, really the first people who first person to turn it down was Susan Day, who was Laurie from the Partridge Family.
Yeah.
She actually turned it down. I think her agent said, "Yeah, this is not a good look for you." Marie Osmond,
I saw that one.
She turned it down because she didn't like the third act turnaround where Sandy kind of gets a little more, kind of embraces her own sexuality a little bit more. She was like, "Nah, that's not for me."
Yeah.
And then Randall Kleiser went to college with the director, and the director was in the midst of in 76 was in the midst of shooting a film. And he went to go visit the set because there was an actress there, and he wanted to look at her for Sandy. And he was watching her act, and he couldn't really decide if she was right for it. So he ended up just kind of passing on her. And that film was Star Wars, and that actress was Carrie Fisher.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he wasn't sure if she could sing.
She can sing though,
so
she could sing. Yeah.
So
great voice.
So as the fates would have it, Olivia Newton-John, who was kind of not a pop star, she was more of a country star in the mid 70s. Her stuff was played a lot on country radio, like "Let Me Be There" and "I Honestly Love You." It was kind of poppy, but she was kind of a country thing. So they got her on, and of course John Travolta now is a TV star. He's on Welcome Back, Kotter. Makes his name as Vinnie Barbarino. He goes and does this adult style film, not an adult film, but an adult style film, Saturday Night Fever, which becomes kind of popular. And he does what was very difficult back then, is making that leap from television to movies. He was able to successfully navigate that. Usually TV people were TV people, and that's what they saw you, and you got very easily typecast. It was difficult to make that leap. And he was able to do that with Saturday Night Fever and then parlay right into Grease, which kind of, and he was still doing Welcome Back, Kotter, but he was so busy that he was like, you need to relegate me to like kind of walk-ons and kind of, he got my part down a little bit on TV.
Yeah. He did start in the films. He was in Carrie.
Yeah.
Brian De Palma cast
minor parts, right?
Minor parts, but still films. I mean, Brian De Palma, I think he went on record saying that he's an instant, saw a movie star, in him, so it's not that to me, it's he did Vinnie Barbarino, but it's just whatever. But for me, it wasn't that big of a leap of him becoming such an icon in that sense, and he even recorded an album too, like they do, right? So it's not surprising to me that he became a star.
But it was difficult. It was difficult to get at it. Once you're in TV, it's kind of like you're doing variety shows, and you kind of get caught in that hamster wheel of things.
Yeah.
So there we go. We've got it.
Is it true that they wanted Henry Winkler because the Happy Days was and he turned it down because he didn't want to get typecast?
Yep. That is correct. They did approach Henry Winkler, and he said it was the biggest mistake he ever made. But I can't see that would be a bridge too far, I think, right? Like we know
As
him as
Danny?
the Fonz, and then he's going to be Danny Zuko. He would just be the Fonz again.
They asked him to be Danny. Okay, I thought
they asked him to be Danny.
All right.
Yeah. And he's like, no, he didn't want, and that was the thing. He didn't want to be typecast. He wanted to get out of TV, like people, aspire to more. And he thought that would be an albatross around his neck, right? Like, I'm not going to be the Fonz and then go do a movie where the guy's essentially the Fonz kind of character,
Well, he did do The Lords of Flatbush with Sly. So another 50s.
That was
before Happy Days, I think.
Yeah, so
or
you're
maybe,
gonna,
yeah.
You don't want to kind of keep keep hitting that. So we have the play from 1971. There's a whole bunch of songs that were written for the play. They incorporate a lot of them, but all of the hits, basically 4 or 5 songs that were written for the movie, are the ones that became hits. And and like Eric said, it's kind of a modern feel. Like, those songs are more modern. They're not really the only one that's throwbacky is Summer Nights, but that was actually written for the play.
Right.
But the other stuff is decidedly modern. The production is decidedly modern. Like, the one that I want is not, it doesn't resemble a song from the 50s or 60s era.
Yeah, it does not sound like, I mean, the only other movie or soundtrack that had that feel, of course, was Dirty Dancing too.
Yep.
He had songs in that, like, that's the songs written for the movie where they didn't sound anything like 60s songs, or they, which again was, but
they got away with it.
They did. And I
So
mean, you had older stars, like established, like recording artists, like doing these songs, like Eric, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, it was, this was just one of those films. It was able to, like, hit the pinnacle of that critical mass of people that were into that. It was kind of like, if you like Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, by 78, that stuff was starting to kind of wear out its welcome. It was kind of very formulaic. So it's like, let's kind of go into a thing. Now, Sean, were you watching Happy Days? Were you watching those other things? So was that kind of a entree, or the Fonz?
This is my cup. This is my cup from when I was a kid. Yeah.
I wrote to Henry Winkler. He wrote back to me. I think I still have the postcard.
That is awesome. Yeah, I loved Happy Days. I loved the Fonz. I think I didn't know it was called Happy Days. I think it was, I want to watch Fonzie, is what I would say. It wasn't Happy Days. It was Fonzie. But yeah, I was all in. My dad was big into the music. So this is something that, he could watch with me. And they could.
Does anybody know where Happy Days started?
I do.
Yeah.
I'll step out. Let someone take a crack at it.
Where it started?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually
the actual pilot of Happy Days was on another TV show.
Oh, really?
And it was on an anthology.
Love American Style.
It was on
Love American Style.
Love American Style.
Boom.
That was the first Happy Day. That was the pilot for Happy Days on that show.
Yeah. Which was like an anthology series of little vignette kind of.
I don't think Henry Winkler was even in that episode. I think it was just Ron Howard.
Ron Howard definitely was. Yeah.
The Cunninghams were there.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was in it. But yeah. Yep. So,
okay.
Anyway.
All right. Let's get into Grease. Courtney, I have a question for you.
Yes.
I'm going to give you a series of numbers. Tell me if you know what they are.
Oh, no.
23, 28, 33, 26.
Sounds like a locker combination.
23, 28, 33, 26.
Measurements?
No? Kelly?
I have no idea. Where's this coming from?
Is it
Sean?
Measurements?
Nope.
Somebody's measurements?
23, 28, 33, 26 were the ages of the four.
Oh, wait.
movies.
I was just going to say, wait a second. I think it's ages.
John Travolta was 23. Olivia Newton-John was 28. Stockard Channing was 33.
Yeah.
And Jeff Conaway was 26 when this film was made.
Conaway.
That's why I was afraid to go to high school.
They all looked like they were like,
I was like, these
ready
are
for
adults.
retirement.
Yeah, like how am I going to match up with these people when I get to high school? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was.
These,
That's so funny.
A couple of years ago, someone got the casting director, and they were giving him shit about it, and like, these are like adults; they're not even close to kids. And his response, he goes, "You know what? We weren't trying for realism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We wanted to get actors that kind of look the same age, just whatever that age is, we wanted them on a same level.
Mm-hmm.
So then they could all just play these roles. So we weren't trying to cast 17-year-olds, you know, and none of them really say that they're 17. They say that they're senior, you know, so they kind of leave that part out of really addressing adolescence, like specifically, you know. It was more like these are young adults, you know.
I think it was easier to convey the subject matter too with older actors, you know. So you really couldn't at that time. You really couldn't get away with that with casting teenagers or, you know.
Yeah.
Nowadays, of course, but you know, back then it was just easier
to
do.
Do you think that, you know, you guys can take a crack at it? Do you think this would have sold back then if it was? And let's say they decide to go with the subject matter or the same thing. But would it have sold with younger kids? Would you have believed it? Or do these older actors kind of give something, a maturity to the performance that a younger actor may or may not have been able to give?
Yeah. I was going to say that the maturity of the voices and like seeing things in a play form, like you usually tend to see older people playing younger in plays. And so that led to that. A funny thing that I know about age and actresses, Shirley Henderson, that was the Moaning Myrtle in Harry Potter, she was 37 playing 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
I guess being in a toilet keeps you young.
Yeah, see, it's not unheard of, and I don't you know, I don't remember thinking much of it because again, you're kind of going into the universe.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like they had other. I mean, there was guys that were balding. I was watching the scene when Danny went to go play basketball, and there's a guy that's like got a crown on his head. So it's not like they put them. It's not like they put these people in with kids.
Everybody was of the same.
It tracked.
Exactly, Sean.
I think it was shocking.
If you go back and watch films from the past and even TV shows, I mean, everybody looked older.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just the way it was. I mean, that was the generation. And, you know, you people could be in their early 20s, but look like they're 30.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, experiences, maybe some of these people were
smoking.
They were, you know, exactly. Or they might have been involved in like, you know, World War II or Korea, or, you know, like, and they became actors and that kind of thing.
The ages,
the ages, you know, so yeah, definitely. I think that was pretty much the way it was. You look at, it's so funny to me. And you know, when Jacob or even, you know, Zach and Kai watched stuff and they just, oh my God, these people look so old, and they really weren't, but they looked older, you know what I mean? It's just, but so I think that kind of was a thing too. I mean, even though they were, that they're kind of tying that in, maybe, you know, like if you look back at like Frankie Avalon, did he look like a 17-year-old kid when he did those beach movies with Annette Funicello? They looked mature. They looked, you know, older.
He was only in his late 30s when he did Grease.
Yeah.
And he was considered he was already considered like a throwback.
Like an oldies.
Right. They just had that, you know, people like that just had that look, that more mature look overall, I think, you know, so.
Well, they called those songs oldies in the 70s. Like,
yeah.
And that was 20 years ago. Like, do you think of the music from 20 years ago as oldies right now? I don't.
No, but my kid does.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, like, it seems like you were considered like old. Like past your prime, and people just kind of leaned into it. Like, oh,
they were aging people out pretty quick. Like, like 40 was you were done with already. You know, if you were in music at 40, you were over the hill, and what were you doing? You know, so that type of thing. I mean, let's talk a little bit about ONJ. I mean, we got to talk about Olivia Newton-John because she's
of
kind
course the angel.
I mean, her and Travolta. This is about chemistry, and that chemistry starts with them. But then it exudes. The way I look at it, it starts with them, but then it exudes out to the rest of the cast. Like the whole cast has to be in sync because in watching this film, I really realized there's barely any scenes that Travolta and Olivia Newton-John have together where someone's not barging in on them or someone's not interrupting. There's very few. There's like the very beginning. There's them at the track, and then there's them at the drive-in. Really, and all the other scenes with them is people are like Kanicki's like barging in, or people are always kind of swirling around them. So you kind of need that the ensemble to really be in sync. But Olivia just, she had done a small film called Tomorrow. I think it was like in the early 70s. It was never seen. It's actually getting released on like Blu-ray or 4K soon. But she was the unknown quantity in this whole thing, because she wasn't really a big actor, and she was kind of a moderately popular singer.
Yeah. I kind of find it ironic that it's Olivia Newton-John, who's an established recording artist, as one of the leads. John Travolta is the reverse. He's an actor who can sing, like most of the actors. I mean, but I think a lot of the people in the ensemble also came from theater. So I think that, I know Jeff Conaway was theater. I know Stockard Channing was big theater. So yeah, but what they bring to the songs is that those acting chops. Sandy, she brings this sort of like the innocence and she conveys that very well because of the type of music that Olivia Newton-John was doing at the time. It was a perfect choice for her to play that part of the character, whereas everybody else is more sort of risque and this and
leaning into her kind of innocent
what a
professional persona.
I almost wish that this movie could have been, upon watching it today, it's like you kind of, I prefer the songs telling the story rather than the kind of cringy banter, the talking in between, which is very like, some of it is just like really like, oh my God. Like, and it's almost as if the director said, play this stuff badly, make it corny, make it this, with the phrases and all this kind of thing. But the songs is where you really get the emotion and really get the, with them. My favorite song is one of my favorites is The Worst Thing I Could Do. She, everything you think about Rizzo is conveyed in that one song. For me, at that point of, now you understand the character. Now you understand who she is, what she's going through. What a performance though in the song. Like her acting in the song is just fantastic. That's one of my favorite moments. So
she gets that. I learned a phrase today that was the placement of her song in that film is called an 11th hour song. It's something that comes late in the in the movie that's very revealing and stuff you didn't know, and I learned today it was called an 11th hour performance or something like that. But back to ONJ, I mean, she she wasn't that whole dance scene at the dance off. She wasn't supposed to be a part of that. She was supposed to be whisked away before that even happened. And she said to them, like, I want to try and dance. Let me give this a shot. Yeah. She's no slouch. I mean, every time I watch that, everybody always watches John Travolta because he's so good.
So good.
Fluid. Like he makes it look effortless, but you got to watch ONJ because she's keeping up with him and she has to. You can't slack because it'll make it look even worse, And when you watch her, she's matching him, move for move. So you really got to give her credit, and she really really adapted to, like the whole Summer Lovin' sequence too. Like it really, the performances, Kelly, like how does that kind of figure in like Olivia and her performances, into the whole experience? Cause it's always easy to focus on John Travolta.
No, I was always drawn to her acting and her like wanting to relate to her. So I never thought it was like the Danny show. I always thought it was like her bringing this, uniqueness. She's like making the whole school like, because she's different, she's new to the school, she's bringing all of this energy that they don't even know. I think that's what you're saying about like their chemistry exploding into the rest of the cast. It's like you have this new energy brought in, and now how's it going to react to all these? And a lot of the people kind of picking on her as the new girl, or is all jealousy of like her bringing because she's just seems like a genuine person out of the gate, and someone who they're all drawn to for different reasons. And yeah, so I don't think that she was ever like second to him or anything like that. I felt like she was very integral.
The pink ladies almost seem intrigued by her innocence and naivete. Like they're almost like they can't believe someone is this much of like a sap. Almost like they kind of look at her like that. Like, we can't believe that someone like this exists in our jaded world where the men are only after one thing and the women have to constantly defend against it. It seems like they're like this someone like this actually exists and doesn't know about about what's really going on.
I also think they're envious of that. I think there's innocence lost, obviously. So I think they, at least in Frenchie's case,
Didi Khan,
sorry.
We're going to go over the cast in a moment.
Yeah. She conveys that she's sort of the go-between, right? She's befriends Sandy. She's, but I think she admires her innocence and, that kind of thing. Marty, I think is cool too, because she, at one moment she's like, yeah, with Rizzo, she's like one thing, but then when Rizzo's not in the picture, Marty actually kind of, snuggles up to Sandy and said, here, honey, have one of mine. Like, she's trying to get to know her, so Marty's like that kind of like, sponge in a way. Like she's like, maybe a little two-faced, but on the other hand, I think she genuinely cares.
Yeah.
I think they all do, really. I think even Rizzo.
Rizzo has the toughest exterior to crack.
Of course. Yeah.
So she's got it. All right, let's give the cast some props, and we'll go through. Of course, John Travolta as Danny Zuko, Olivia Newton-John as Sandy Olsen from Australia. How are things down under? Jeff Conaway is Kaneki. Sean, did Kaneki chicken out of Thunder Road? Since we're talking about Kaneki, did he?
You're going there.
It's the question I can't answer because he gets hit in the head. He foreshadows by saying to Danny, "Hey, will you be my second at Thunder Road?" Yeah, he gets hit on the head, and he kind of. It seems like he's faking that he's can't see, because then when Danny's like, "Hey, do you want me to run?" He's like, "Do you want me to drive?" He's like, "Yeah." Like he's kind of almost like I'm, Sean, can he chicken out?
He really went down, like he doesn't even try. I feel like he hit as he did hit. I did catch. You do catch. He hits the back of his head after he gets hit, and that kind of. I think he made the right choice not driving. Did he chicken out? I think he was relieved that he had an out. How about that?
Yeah.
So he chickened out.
I'll buy that.
Relieved that he had an out. So I guess, does that mean is that chickening out? Is that chickening out?
Yeah.
You want to make something of it, Dean?
Yeah. The hell you think you're doing?
The whole parking lots.
What?
He's got some of the best lines.
He does. Jeff Conaway really like kind of.
My favorite is that the teacher, the auto tech teacher, is there, and she's like, "Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. I'm not going to lose my job for condoning this drag race on Thunder Road. I'm fine.
Yeah,
her name is Murdoch, Alice Ghostly. Anyway,
and we'll get to that.
Let's continue. So Jeff Conaway is Kaneki, Barry Pearl is Duty, Michael Tucci is Sonny Latieri, and Kelly Ward is Putsy. Kelly Ward was actually the closest in age. He was actually like 19 or 20. He actually was like, I heard that too. Yeah. But what does that mean then? Does he, if they're trying to match him, was he a 19-year-old that looked like 27-year-olds then? That was playing then a 17-year-old? Like, we're doing time shifting here. The Pink Lady, Stockard Channing as Rizzo, Didi Khan as Frenchie, Jamie Donnelly as Jan. I got to think we got to talk a little bit about her as well. Dinah Manoff as Marty. There's the actress Jamie Donnelly. If you've ever seen her, she's a beautiful woman. Like even in Grease, if you just look at her, she is actually a really beautiful woman. But they make these jokes that she's fat, and they make her out to be this fat person. But if you look, she's really not at all. I don't know what the, that's the, they say there's a lot of problematic things. I just have a problem with that. That's really the only thing I have a problem with is that this woman is actually really pretty in real life.
And they try to make.
They do that a lot with women.
What's that?
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
Yeah,
in
but
TV
and it's not like they
and-
try, and they didn't try. They just tried to make. They didn't make her ugly. They just kind of made her like more plain as opposed to
Frumpy and
Marty, who's kind of glamorous.
Yeah.
But they, they made her kind of that butt of the joke. But I didn't see it. I'm like, I don't see that in this actress. She was a really pretty woman. Anyway. Secondary cast, Eddie Deason, who made his career playing like the ultimate nerd. Like Eddie Deason just kind of, that was his thing, and he rides it, and you know what? Good on you, sir. Now we get into the nostalgia part. And I think this is what got parents into this, is the casting of these teachers and advisors, because these are all people that were on TV or radio in the 50s.
In the 50s, yeah.
Eve Arden, she was on a radio show called Our Miss Brooks, which was on radio, and she played a school teacher. Dodie Goodman, who was an actress in the 30s and 40s. Yonkers' own Sid Caesar, again.
He was my favorite. He was my favorite as the coach.
Yeah.
He coaches
Calhoun.
every sport.
Long distance running.
And he coaches every sport somehow. He's the coach.
Yeah,
every single varsity sport.
Yeah, he knew everything,
Yeah.
Wrestling, I'm like, wrestling. God, they still do wrestling. Sid Caesar, who was one of the pioneers of early television with your shows. Alice Ghostly, who was on every like TV show, like I Dream of Jeannie or all those ones in the 60s. She was there. Fanny Flagg, she was kind of bigger in the late 60s and the 70s. She would be on Match Game all the time, but there really were kind of Joan Blondell, she was another one. She actually died. She was Vi. She was the waitress with the she died the year after this came out.
Yeah.
Which was terrible. Such a just a great actress. Frankie Avalon is the teen angel. Again, he kind of services the late 50s, early 60s beach party movies. He kind of bridges that gap into the 60s. They actually asked Frankie Valli to do that since they got Frankie Valli to sing the title track, which they didn't want. Randall Kleiser did not want that song in there. Like, well, do you want to be the teen angel? He's like, nah, I'll do this. Let Frankie do that, and this way we both get good. We'll both do all right on it. So,
and then Ellen Travolta, Johnny Travolta's sister, as
Ellen Travolta.
Yep.
And then Ed Burns as Vince Fontaine, the smarmiest.
Oh, that's problematic
if there's one thing that hasn't aged well,
no,
I don't like aged like milk in the sun.
Well, see,
Vince Fontaine.
But that's part, like, for me, that's one of the moments in the movie where it's like, this is very problematic. But Marty, she apparently he was trying to like drug her. Like, if she just nonchalantly, she's like, he was trying to put something in my Coke at the dance. Like, she just says it like so, and it's forgotten. It's like it's like but that's wow. Like,
And it also leads to the character of him. Like, of course
absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going around to like high schools throughout the country.
Like, same line about
those guys.
They're shooting the freshener in his mouth. Looks like a perfume bottle. I mean, just But Eddie Burns was on a show called Route 66 in the late 50s, early 60s.
There you go. Yeah, that's
so
right.
Again, bringing all these people in just kind of cemented the nostalgia factor for the parents. They can that were really kind of doing it, and then the kids that were just kind of discovering, like Sean said, the oldies.
Yeah,
that were kind of like those kind of Easter eggs. Like, we went and saw the He-Man movie, and Dolph Lundgren is in a scene, and Kira
spoiler alert.
I'm sure it's not. My kid didn't know who it was, and we had to tell after. Well, that's blah blah blah.
You got to show her
the original. It's the original He-Man.
Yeah.
It's the
We're
original.
showing the cartoons right now. So.
And then of course Sha Na Na, which was a 50s tribute band.
Right, they had their own show, variety show.
They played at Woodstock.
Yeah.
And then they had their own variety show as well. So, you know, all this, like, Grease was like a perfect storm of the
My
culmination.
dad was all over them. He had the albums. He was loving them, man. They Bowser, it was
it was this whole thing. Like, again, like Grease just was just like whatever was the pinnacle of like Donna Summer was like the pinnacle of the disco era or whatever. Like Grease was like the pinnacle of this. It kind of put a cap on it.
Yeah.
Then we rolled into the 80s and things just kind of changed again. So it's just kind of
the nostalgia was just baked into this thing from the get-go, you know. So they knew what they were doing there. I feel it's like, but again, you have that as the draw in, but then, you know, all the things that are happening in this film, the subject matter, I think it's worth examining in that sense. This movie is a lot, it obviously means a lot more in that respect than in trying to convey those kinds of things that's completely relatable at any generation. You know, so I feel like this movie, it's fun, it's colorful, it's everything that it should be, you know, but it's also saying something. And I think, you know, a lot of movies like Footloose for me was like that. It was actually a really good, I mean, it, you know, seems ridiculous again, casting, you know, older actors to play these parts. But the story I thought was great. I thought it had a really good story and a good message, you know, so Dirty Dancing, the same thing, you know.
And
so I think,
that has a dark underbelly as well. Dirty
Absolutely.
Dancing has an undertone, as does Grease has quite a few undertones, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean, do you think that those undertones, are they undertones or are they problematic? Because it's easy for us to look through the lens now and look back 40 years, close to 50 years, and be like, oh, ick. Like the Vince Fontaine thing, I think everybody would agree is ick. But dealing with, you know, teenage pregnancy or the potential of it, though, that's still a concern. It's not like it's, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So is it problematic, or is it just this is the way the film presents itself?
Yeah.
I mean, the Vince Fontaine stuff was icky to me last night when I watched it. And there's some things that are a little bit sketchy, you know, like go flog your log. I'm like, I remember being a kid and Sandra, and Sandra D, when she goes, hey, Fungal, I'm Sandra. And I remember going, hey, Fungal. My mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. What am I doing? Grease. It was in Grease. Yeah. You took me to see it, you know, like I would love for my daughters to watch it, but now I'm gonna have a lot of explaining to do. And there's, you know, he's like looking on the girls' skirts at the at the bleachers, and it's just all about the T-Birds are just jerks.
Well, let me ask you guys this. You know, Dean, I'm probably going to present it because we're obviously the oldest in the bunch here. But do you ever having that conversation with your parents about what it was like for them in the 50s? You know, when you see this movie, obviously you're going to ask, hey, did you really do things like that? Where, you know, like my dad, like, were you like a thug? You know, like hanging out on the street corner in the leather jacket with your boys and, you know, like, you know, I mean, he's like, that's pretty, I would say so, you know, like he loved the doo-wop kind of thing. He was always getting into trouble. You know,
my dad would always talk about the cruise culture, like just, it was just cruising.
so is it, so then let me bounce off of what Eric is saying. Kelly, is it authentic or problematic, or can it be both at the same time? Can you know?
I think it's authentic. I think that saying that it's problematic means that it's like you put yourself in this like glass house kind of thing. No, everyone, maybe not those exact scenarios, but everyone has lived that. Like kids going down the hallway saying curse words and whatever. That's natural. That's happening. That's what made it relatable. I don't think that anything that happened in there is problematic as in the movie. It's problematic because that's society. Like that is how things happen.
Sure. People want it to be this sort of homogenized view of the 50s, which is what, you know, back in the day, they couldn't get away with telling, with movies and TV back then where, you couldn't do this kind of stuff, but
it happened.
But life is life, things did happen like this in the 50s, and that's all. And that's where I was going with, talking about with my parents and my mom's, it's like, my mom pretended to be prudish and whatever, but come on, Ma, bullshit. I mean, my dad would kind of wink, like in the corner there, but it's, but like Kelly was saying, it's like, I don't find this. I mean, if you want it to be a certain thing, then you're really not, I think it's a good thing that it's projecting this kind of stuff.
Something that I was going to relate
something
to
you could take away. Yeah.
High School Musical is that whitewashed version. It was very, it was great because our kids watched High School Musical and it brought me back to the feeling of Grease. And I was like, oh, I love this for you guys to have your own generations kind of musical set in a school and the experiences you're going through. And of course, it's very Disney and very whitewashed, but that's kind of like the juxtaposition, if you will. Like High School Musical is that very, easygoing, idealistic version of with slight problems that Grease really showed under the cover of.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why kids even today dig Grease. You could watch, young kids today could watch it and really kind of, oh, this is, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like, because it's relatable, in that sense.
I think more so. And I don't think High School Musical had a sandpaper-faced guy driving a black car that shot flames.
No.
That guy had to be 40. Forget about the other averages. That guy that was the Scorpion.
But that's the great thing about it is like the sort of
the nom.
That was kind of the fantasy aspect of Grease, is all of the 50s nostalgia, all the tropes.
Yeah, all the stereotypes.
Even the Easter eggs, like the race was like a nod to Ben-Hur.
Yep.
With the the blades on the wheels and cutting the chariot race and all that kind of thing. And it's just, so that, there's a lot of that in there. But, for the presentation, but again, I always enjoyed it for the subject matter. I always thought it was, even as a kid, I always knew that didn't quite understand everything that was happening or saying, but I knew it was obviously more adult oriented in that sense.
Yeah. So, and I don't find this stuff problematic.
No,
because there are plenty of other movies that came out that deal with the same subject matter. I think people find it problematic now.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah,
you're dealing, which is it's worse because it's presented as a more realistic portrayal,
and that's what I think the problem is. And I think that's why people are kind of ragging on Grease, because Grease is perceived for as a kid's movie. Like kids can like Sean said, like there's a point when you probably can show it. And a lot of the stuff will just fly by, and they'll get the songs and they'll get the fun stuff.
Yep.
But that's what this is what the movie is presenting. So, they're not saying this is a kid's movie. This was a PG movie. If this came out now, it would have been a PG-13, maybe even close to an R, just from subject matter.
Right.
So it's not the fault of the film.
No.
Right. The film is what it is. If this had said, if they took all the music out of it, this would have been a drama like the Lords of Flatbush or the Wanderers or any other, any other one of those films. And they would have been like, oh, okay. But because there's music in it, it automatically kind of supposedly brings the audience down, right? The age and the the target. Then all of a sudden that material becomes like, oh no, but this is a film that has music in it, has musical numbers. Yeah. That shouldn't detract from the subject matter they're dealing with. So anyway. Okay. Courtney, question for you.
Yes.
There's a fan theory. Can you confirm or deny that this movie actually doesn't really take place because Sandy drowned in the beginning of the film, and everything that happens after is her dying and seeing.
I heard that.
This is a fan theory.
I know
that she died at the beach because there was Danny has a song and a line in Summer Nights. I saved her life. She nearly drowned, but she actually did drown at the beach.
And I heard This all is hinged on them flying into the clouds at the end.
Yes, and then at the end they're going up to heaven.
Yeah.
That's when she died.
I don't know. I feel like
You buying it?
No, I don't buy it.
No.
Kelly, you buying it?
No, not at all. I think that's
it's a fun conspiracy.
Why you would bring that into it and like take away from all that experience in the middle is, I mean, a shame. I don't know. I don't like it.
Sean, what do you think? Sandy's dead on the beach?
I never thought about that. I always thought that going up to the clouds was kind of dumb. But my question is, Steve, maybe did they get it on at the end of the summer?
No.
At the beach?
Yeah.
They made out, but I don't think, because I think Danny was telling everyone that they did and made it sound like.
And Sandy said he was a real gentleman, right? He said he was a real gentleman, and he was, he was sweet, just turned 18, and he's telling his salacious side for the guys.
But he says it's just the beginning. Like, it's like, it's not the end. It's just the beginning.
I think that's a nod to what I think that is, and it took me a while. I think that's a self-reference to the movie. It's like, this isn't the end, it's just the beginning, and then the film begins. I just think it's a self-referential like nod to itself.
And Danny's he's a completely different person with her.
Yeah,
exactly.
He's so soft.
That's why I think that
he absorbs her softness.
That doesn't mean it didn't happen or it couldn't have happened.
I think that because he was biding his time.
I think that's why, like at the drive-through, he's trying so hard because he hasn't been there before.
Right.
True. You got a point there, Kelly.
That's true.
Take this,
and it's also public. That makes her at the end.
But it's also public. It's also public.
Okay.
But that's what makes that reveal at the end so poignant, is the fact that she's because he now he's a letterman. He's just what Danny Zuko turned jock, and he's like, what do you
role reversal
and role exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I remember that was the first image I ever saw of the film. Coming off of Saturday Night Fever, was walking into a some kind of a Five and Dime or whatever. I don't remember, and seeing a poster. It wasn't the movie poster with the with the two of them on whatever. It was just a candid of Olivia Newton-John in the hot pants and the FU shoes and the and just the whole what
giving away the ending.
Who is that?
Spoiler.
And that was that, and it just said Grease on the very bottom, and it was and that was the poster. It was just her with the cigarette, and I was like, that can't be Olivia Newton-John, and it was, but I was like, I was like,
I don't think so. I don't think they did anything because it doesn't point to it. And she has Olivia Newton-John has one of the great lines in the drive-in scene, right, when he tries that move on, and she's like, "Let me out of this sin wagon." It's hard to hear. Just get me out of this sin wagon.
Sin wagon. You can keep your piece of tin.
Yeah. So she was
a little bit of a rhyme there.
She was the Sandra D that they were all making her fun of her, making her out to be. Was she's not that kind of thing. The other great scene that happened alongside is when Rizzo tells Marty that she's pregnant, and you see her walking behind all the cars, and all the people are telling each person, and she's just casually strolling.
Yeah, don't tell
behind
anybody.
The cars.
Right.
And then it gets to Kanicki with his giant flame cigarette. Hey, I hear you're knocked up. It's like, and she's just casually walking behind as they're telling it to each car. It's just brilliant. Some brilliant cinematography in the film.
Yeah. It's very choreographed. It's very
There's a lot of great shots.
It's not a note of music being played, but it's still the camera's all over the place.
It's cinema. It's
moving in sync.
It's
great. Yeah.
All right. Are we ready for Three Truths and a Lie? What do you think? Ready for it? We're gonna dust it off.
Why not?
All right. I don't think Courtney's never done it. Kelly, have you ever done a Three Truths and a Lie once?
No.
No.
Sean has fallen victim many times, so don't.
I've messed it up so many times.
Don't use him as an example. But I'm going to read 4 statements to each one of you. You're all going to get the same 4 statements. 3 of them are true. One of these statements is false. One is a deception. It's a lie. It's a ruse. It's a red herring. It's a MacGuffin.
Okay.
You is that enough? Do you need more clarification?
No, got it.
Good. Okay.
Got it.
I thought we had to bring up something, so I'm glad that it's this.
No,
other
I'm
one.
gonna read the 4 statements, and then you'll go around. You will tell me which one you think is the lie, and then we will slowly reveal which one it is. So here we go. One of them we already gave you. So one's already a freebie. The first statement, you got to tell me if I'm going to read all 4. So then and then we'll go around. Statement number 1: Henry Winkler was originally considered for the role of Danny Zuko. Statement number 2: the high notes at the end of the song "Summer Nights" were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to John Travolta's lack of range. That summer night. Statement number 3: animator Ralph Bakshi tried to buy the rights to Grease to do an animated version of the film. Statement number 4: images of Coca-Cola were blurred out of the film due to a placement deal with Pepsi. I'm going to read them again. Number 1: Henry Winkler was originally considered for the role of Danny Zuko. So that's a freebie for you. Statement number 2: the high notes at the end of the song "Summer Nights" were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to John Travolta's lack of range. Statement number 3: animator Ralph Bakshi tried to buy the rights to do an animated version of Grease and then couldn't get it. Instead, he made a film called Lord of the Rings. Statement number 4: images of Coca-Cola, the soda, were blurred out of the film due to a placement deal with Pepsi. Let's throw Courtney, feet into the fire. Which one of those 4 statements, 3 of them are true, one of those is a lie? Which one do you think is a lie?
I feel like it's the Ralph Bakshi one.
Animator Ralph Bakshi tried to buy the rights to do an animated version of Grease. You think you think I'm lying when I tell you that?
Yeah.
Okay, there's your choice. Kelly, what do you think? What's the lie?
I don't think that they dubbed in Barry Gibb. I think that John Travolta did that all on his own.
Okay, so you're saying the high notes at the end of Summer Nights were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to Travolta's lack of range. You think I'm lying when I say that to you?
Yes.
All right. Sean Grady, welcome back. What's the lie?
I'm in between 2 because I know one of the other ones you said is a lie.
Okay.
So
I want the lie, not the truth.
No, I know.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Barry Gibb is a lie.
The high notes at the end of Summer Nights were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to John Travolta's lack of range. You think I'm lying when I tell you that? All right. Eric, what's it going to be, sir?
I want to say...
For how long? Do you know my poker face? Poker face?
I want to say that it's the 70s, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ralph Bakshi wanted to buy the rights to it. So I don't think that's it.
Okay,
but yeah,
so
I think the Barry Gibb thing. But
so you think the high notes at the end of Summer Nights were dubbed in by Barry Gibb? You think that's a lie when I tell you that?
I think it's a lie, but it's probably the case. It's going to be. I know it's probably going to be true.
It's
either, so what do you want?
I'm thinking. I'm just thinking about the song, and I'm thinking
you can't have it both ways.
I'm thinking about it in my head, and I'm thinking about how it was recorded and the whole sound. Yeah. So, but no, I'm going to stick to the back. That being the lie.
Okay, so
I'm probably wrong. Lie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Here we go. At home, let us know what your selection was. You can hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or you can actually hit us through your podcast platform provider. There's a little button that says fan mail. You can let us know what your selection was and let us know how you did. Okay, obviously, the first truth, Henry Winkler was originally considered for the role of Danny Zuko. Well, yeah, because we talked about it. Someone brought it up. Sean.
Hey,
no, I did not. I did not bring that up.
I'm not holding back my guns. I don't know.
I had the cup. I had the cup. That's why I got blamed.
You all had a partner. You're all part of it.
Okay.
You all have to get me.
Well, it's
okay. So that was true.
Okay, got it.
The other truth, which no one picked, it was images of Coca-Cola were blurred out of the film.
That I knew.
I felt like I saw that. Yeah.
Due to a placement deal with Pepsi. Yeah, they had to go through and digitally matte, or not digitally, but matte out. You could especially see it in the diner scenes when they're at the soda shop. You can see it a lot there. It's blurry in the back for some reason. It looks weird. But apparently one Coca-Cola image did go through like a cooler or something with Coca-Cola on it. Pepsi never complained anyway, so I don't see what the big deal is. So we're left with two. We're left with animator Ralph Bakshi tried to buy the rights to do an animated version of Grease and instead ended up doing a movie called Lord of the Rings, or the high notes at the end of Summer Nights were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to John Travolta's lack of range. One of these is true and one of these is false. Do you guys want the truth or you want the lie?
Give us the truth.
We can't
handle the truth. Yeah, we all just.
Oh, I should have had that ready. When Eric said give us the truth, I should have hit. You can't handle the truth. God. I'm gonna have it ready for next time. All right, we're gonna give you the truth then. So what I'm leaving out is the lie. The final true statement is animator Ralph Bakshi tried to buy the rights to do an animated version of Grease. He did. Which tracks because he did a movie called American Pop around
American
that time.
Pop.
So in that lane. So the false statement is the high notes at the end of Summer Nights were dubbed in by Barry Gibb due to John Travolta's lack of range. That is the lie.
Nice.
And three of you have caught me lying once again. So congratulations. Do I have? I don't know. I have some applause here somewhere. I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. There we go. we got the real thing. Thank you all for playing the triumphant return of three truths and a lie. Sometimes it'll be three lies and a truth.
Nice.
Let's roll into favorite scenes as let's wind this down. Or if you want to pick a favorite musical number, if that does it for you, if that encapsulates the movie.
Well, that is a scene, right?
Say that again.
That would be a scene.
Well,
Each song
but you don't have to pick that. You can actually pick some stretches of dialogue as well, or some stuff, because there's some nuggets in there, some interesting acting choices. So Kelly, let's go first. What's your favorite? What kind of? You could pick one or two quick ones if you got them.
My favorite scene is when they do the reveal to each other and she's like, Danny! And he's like, Sandy! And he like completely loses his facade and he's like all excited and then he remembers himself and he's like, oh yeah. You know, that's my favorite scene.
At the bonfire?
That's
yeah,
cool.
it doesn't seem like acting at all. It really seems like, that was the first time that they saw each other in a long time. So that's my favorite.
It's cool, man. Rocking, rolling. I do not know. Eric, what do you got for a favorite?
Oh man. Good Lord. Okay. I'm gonna pick this one for Jerry Sullivan.
Okay.
Because he did not opt to be on the show because we invited him on, but he claimed that he didn't watch the whole movie, which surprises the hell out of me. What kind of rock are you living under? But anyway,
where's my shotgun sound effect?
But he did want us to address Grease Lightning. He wanted us to address the song, and he was, what kind of effect did that song have on people? Like I think we discussed this in the episode, but it was just very risque. The language in the song, that's what got my mom. Is the chicks will
cream.
Well, chicks will cream, right?
That's okay.
What? So, yeah. I mean, so I think we covered, the problematics sort of thing about it.
There's a lot in there.
You go. But yeah. But I'm gonna pick that one for Jerry.
Originally the Kaniki character sang that song.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in the film, it's like, well, John, we got to give it to the star. And Jeff Conaway was like, he didn't want to. He was like, all right, fine, like whatever.
Yeah, I almost feel like because Conaway was the one that was into
it's his car.
It was his car. It's his thing. So it did seem odd to me that he would just like give up so easily. So to Sean's
was
point,
always like the one that was kind of always promoting it though. Like, oh, what do you draw? Like when he drove up, the other guy, what do you have? Well, you don't have anything. This could be,
right.
And they kind of set it up. He goes, oh, this car could be Makeout City if we fix it up. So they kind of pre-planted that,
It is a glorious scene, though. I mean, when they switch to the musical, like the fantasy aspect of it, where things are, the car is like this, and of course it doesn't look anything like that, until the end, which is kind of odd. Like it just,
it's the fantasy car.
It's the fantasy car. But yeah, it's a great scene. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Sean Grady, what do you got?
Grease Lightning was always my favorite scene, but I'll say that I like the dance scene. Like Travolta, when he's doing that dance hand jive, like who's cooler than him on the dance floor? I wanted to be him in the worst way, and I knew it was never happening.
Dancing like a Johnny Travolta.
Who wouldn't want to be like that on the dance floor? Like know every move, like just looking so cool and suave, and just killing it out there on the dance floor. I mean, that's. If I could have one skill like that, right? Just to go out there and just with such confidence and be like, boom, everybody watching you.
Well, Maroon 5 has the song "Moves Like Jagger," so you should make Dance Like Travolta.
Dance Like Travolta. Yeah,
you can kind of make a sequel.
So I'll say that, but Grease Lightning is probably my top.
Really? Okay, another one for Grease Lightning. Courtney, what do you got?
I think the opening credits are top notch in the way that it sets the tone for the entire movie. There's been a few movies like that I can remember, like when you sit down to watch Fight Club and it's the synopsis like going through and the music and like I don't know, it just sets the mood, like Napoleon Dynamite, like when you're moving the things and it's
I was just thinking
we're gonna be friends, like it sets the tone. It's like, oh, this is what we're gonna see. That beginning cartoon and everything just sets it up perfect. In the song perfect, and then it plays again at the end, so it's just like I just love it.
Cool. All right. I think my favorite scene is probably a performance. Is like the hidden weapon is Jeff Conaway as Kaneki. Like he has so much undercurrent of stuff that's going on, of looks and just when he's throwing the guys out of the car, when he picks up Rizzo, hit the pavement, and like, what are you kicking us out, Like he gets he gets most of the good.
Give me money.
Exactly. That's the scene I was gonna pick. Is this one of the favorite scenes? Is that diner scene, because they're all together and they're all at that point they're all dating. So like Sonny is going out with Marty and Putsy is going out with Jen, and they're all kind of together, and Rizzo and Kaneki are fighting, and those are great interactions because Rizzo's not taking any of his shit, No, he's like, all right, what's the problem now? You're like a person that have a wet mop, and she's not taking it, because we eventually know what's going on, but it's such a great scene because Danny and Travolta's trying to just keep out of this whole thing, so he's got his motives, and then there's Kaneki and Rizzo with their conflict, and then the rest of them are just kind of adding to the whole menagerie of stuff that's going on. So it's just it's a fun scene, and you get to see some acting, chops.
Yeah.
And just to comment on that, like how relatable is that fact that Travolta's trying to be someone else for her? Like, is truly him? Is Danny, the punk? Is he, whatever? I think what really kind of sets the tone for that too is the track scene and him trying to, to be better, but he still can't avoid trying to be cool and trying to put on this thing for his friends and
feathers. He keeps showing them.
I think pretty much every guy's got that at some point. We've all
he's got the strut. And he's got to keep up appearances,
right?
Especially when he swings that baseball, when he swings that bat, the guys are like laughing. Come on,
the hat down, like
he can't swing a bat for his life. Like Danny Zuko was not meant for baseball.
No.
But which Sandy does Danny want to be with? The Sandy at the beginning of the movie or the Sandy at the carnival?
That's a good question, because she kind of turns and says, "Well, I need to lean into what he is." To get him, and then he's on the other hand, he's saying,
that could be the most important question. Is that a good message?
Right. But
for girls,
I think they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. I think they're going to meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think she went to an extreme. Sean, it's a good point. I think she
needed to go to the extreme to kind of grab his attention.
Right. because he went to the same extreme. He's like, I gave,
Oh, he's doing the same. He's trying to do the same.
Courtney makes a good point. Yeah, I think they kind of end up meeting in the middle of like, I this was almost like dress up, and I kind of did this to kind of get your attention. And I'm sure she's not going to be walking around like that, after 3 years when they're married and got 3 kids running around,
Yeah.
Sandy.
They're going to look back and
I agree, but I'm thinking which one does, I think he prefers the first Sandy. I don't think he's.
Yeah, that's what he fell in love with. Yeah,
I think so too. Yeah. But I think that they meet somewhere in the middle to make each other,
Yeah, I think around their friends. I'm sure you make a really good point because he never asked her to change.
Never.
Right? Mm-hmm. He never did any of that. He was the one that was leading a double life, so he was the one that was always pretending. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So she was, I guess, to kind of feel from silver linings, like how to meet his crazy with her crazy. Like, okay, well, I need to kind of, show you a little different side of me, but this is not who I am. But it's just kind of, that's a really good point because he was the one that was doing the multiple personality gig, and she was just always her, and he loved that. That's what he fell in love with.
Yeah.
So. Interesting. All right. That's something to chew. I think we're going to leave it there because that's a really good, Sean, that's a really good point to leave it on and to chew on is kind of that whole dynamic at the end of, doing that.
Love it.
They actually, the whole, just to leave it here, that whole end scene at the carnival when they throw the pies at Calhoun. And he said to the guys, well, you come back for summer school. They were trying to make a TV series or a sequel called Summer Something, not Grease 2, but about Coach Calhoun and about them going to summer school.
I love Grease 2, by the way.
All right, Sean. Well, it's been nice having you on the show. I'm glad
I don't care who knows it.
I'm glad everybody deserves a swan song, and this was it.
I love Grease 2. I don't know. Nobody else. I'm the only one. Come on.
No, I haven't seen it enough.
But I do celebrate Rex Manning Day.
I'm not saying it's a good movie. Like I saw it when I was 8, but I love it. I love Grease.
I never Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer.
I never even gave it a shot. Like the cast was just Adrian Zemed. I'm like, this is just like you're really scraping here.
Oh no, they scrape.
McDonald before he was Shooter McGavin.
We just watched that.
So bad, it's good. I gotta say.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So we're never doing an episode on Grease 2, is what you're saying.
Something you'll never have an email.
Well, you're mentioning it here, and we'll leave it at that. Yeah. At least it got a mention.
Got a mention.
Got it in.
There you go.
All right, I think that's going to do it for this episode of the 3324 podcast. Courtney Cremines, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was great.
Kelly Cooper, the same.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Sean Grady, thank you so much for coming back in. I still have the movie that you sent to me that we're going to do, which is a far cry from this one, but it is supposedly a Christmas film.
Yeah.
That's the Easter egg.
I never thought of okay, we'll leave it there.
That's the Easter egg I'm going to lay.
I'm surprised we haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm surprised we haven't done it yet.
Yeah, well, we've been waiting for him.
And Dirty Dancing, I'm surprised you have not done.
I'm all for Dirty Dancing.
We're back. We're back.
They're back for that.
If we talk about Jerry Orbach.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
When I'm wrong, I admit it.
This is not a tragedy.
What you did to that girl.
Yep.
Lenny Briscoe up in the Catskills.
That's right.
Anyway. we'll get to that. Those are to be determined. In the meantime, hit the link in the show notes for Sean Grady's Drama from the Past. They are literally celebrating the birth of this country through their art. And if you have a chance to go see them, go see them. It is worth your time. It is great.
Thank you.
Informative, fun, entertaining, all that great stuff. Long live the HMS Vulture. Eric and I will be in it. He'll be on his couch and I'll be on my comfy gamer chair until we see you again. So thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit follow. I didn't ask you in the beginning, so I'm asking you at the end. Hit follow. This way you get a gentle notification, very gentle tap on the shoulder when new episodes come out. For Kelly, for Courtney, for Sean Na, and for Eric, this has been Dean asking you, please, please, please go ahead and be kind and rewind.
You've been listening to the 3324 podcast with Dean Legiro and Eric Cooper. You can find us on your favorite podcast provider, so please like, subscribe, and rate to become a part of the 3324 family. Your feedback is important, so make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at 3324 Podcast and on Twitter at 3324P to join the conversation.